giants falling down. Ain't nobody here to play around. Push it to the edge, I won't back down. Cause it's time to go hard or go home. One way up, no way out. I give it all for the family. We stay up, no bailouts. Give it all for the family. Family.
Oh, baby, you know what time it is. Check your watch. Check your calendars. Cody and Coach P coming at you live. Everybody's like, well, it's not live, but it is live because if we screw up, we got to go with it. So pretty much we record it, then we send it out. It's live. Cody T. Cameron, welcome.
What's going on, Coach? We got semifinal football, man. Let's go.
Oh
Cody and Coach
man.
P.
We've got
Let's
some
rock.
Great games. Cody and I, as you guys know, we caught dinner. We had a great chat with some of the Basha families over at Bambino's. We want to thank them for hosting us and giving us a great meal. Cody and I got some sliders over there that were out of this world. And we saw a great game last week in the 6A as O'Connor in overtime defeated Basha. But I'll tell you what, I mean, I really think this thing's played out. Not too many surprises. We're going to go over 5A. We're going to go over 6A, and we're going to go over the Open. And then tomorrow I'm going to do a spotlight on Casa Grande Cactus. So Cody and I got a lot to do today, and we're going to jump right into this thing, okay? Number 1 ranked Sunrise Mountain against Campo Verde. We're so lucky being joined. Head coach, Coach Freeman of Campo Verde. Want to bring him in, just talk a little bit about the season and all that. And we're going to go from there. So let's make it happen. Cody, you could take the lead with Coach Freeman.
Let's rock.
He's coming in right now.
Coach Freeman, you there?
Just a second. I got to fix something.
There he is. Yes, that area, the live show, baby. We love it. Get yourself situated, Coach. The interview's too important.
There he is. There he is. And he's rocking the playoff beard.
Love it.
Yeah.
I got the playoff beard going, man. Cody, take it away.
Coach Freeman, man. Well, welcome to our show, Cody and Coach P show. Talk about football. We got semifinals, little 5A action. To start off, though, Coach, I kind of want to ask you, first-year head coach here, obviously the DC there last year. Coach Ragsdale jumps up to the AD position, and you take nice head coaching roles there. Did this team surprise you this season? Obviously, you guys go to the 5A championship game last year, but honestly, when I watch you guys on tape, Coach, I didn't see a drop-off. Your guys' physicality, your offensive line play was once again amazing this year. Did you see any drop-off? Did this team surprise you this season about how well you guys did?
A little in the fact that we were actually really young. I mean, if you look at our roster, our offensive line, we had 3 returning starters. We had our returning fullback in Jagger Heeger. And then Caden was back, but Caden was coming back from a pretty serious ankle injury. So we really didn't know for sure what we were going to get from Caden once he got back. And that was it on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, we had Freddie Goodson back, Mark Liano, and Noah Borchard, as those were the only full-time starters who were back this year. So we only had 3 on the defensive side of the ball. So how well they grew together throughout the year, yeah. I'm not surprised in that the idea of our kids being selfless and they really gelled and meshed with one another. But yeah, we had some surprises. I mean, Riley Garcia didn't even start as a JV quarterback last year, and this year he's been doing really well. So we definitely have some surprises.
Coach, I look at your guys' schedule right off the bat, obviously playing Williamsfield. Honestly, a game that, in my opinion, just be a competitor, that sets you and prepares you for the rest of the year, playing a tough team like that and then playing South Point middle of the season. But offensively, you mentioned Callaway, and he was so special last season. And people don't understand that his ACL injury was so late in the year last year. A lot of kids don't come back from that as fast as he did. I remember watching the first couple tapes the first couple film tapes of the first couple weeks, and he looked like he was back in like literally where he had no drop off of last season. How special was that being a first year head coach and retaining a player like Caden Calloway at running back?
It definitely gives you a comfort level. You know, we knew that Caden was going to run hard, that he was reliable, he was dependable. You could tell, and I guess I could tell because I've been around Caden for 4 years now. It took him a little bit to get back to full speed. But at this point now, he does look like the kid before the injury last year.
He was at full speed last week, Coach, over 200 yards rushing. I'll tell you that. You know, one of the things, being an O-line coach, I just want to, you know, jump in here because I mean, there's some guys on that offensive line that are just literally take your lunch pail to work guys. You look at Jake Leady. I mean, I'll never forget, Cody, I was at a combine last year. Mm-hmm. And this is a young man who's, what is he, Coach? Maybe 5'11", 240?
Yeah, if he's lucky, he's 5'11".
On a good day.
Well, he's up to about 260 now.
5'10", 260, Cody.
Yeah.
This kid, they put him on, they did a little big man competition. They put him on the squat rack. And they were squatting reps of 225. Mm-hmm. And they stopped the kid because he was taking too much time. He was up to 62 reps.
He's ridiculous.
And I mean, you got Hayden Preston, the Lake Forest commit. Coach Kat's been on him for 2 years, put a lot of effort into him. The Hinjos kid. I mean, you've got some dudes up front. Talk about to the defensive side. I think Mark Liano might be one of the most underrated defensive players in the state, to be honest with you. And when you have sound coaching, as far as being able to keep that staff intact, a great fan base, a great AD, a strong defense, a steady running game, everything points to you guys being able to run the show on. I don't want to give you any jinx here, but I have not been impressed. I know so if you haven't watched too much of the show, I'm notorious for getting programs to hate me. So I have not given Sunrise any credit this year. I've been motivation for them. But I don't think this is a super strong. I think you're the best team out of the four. And I've tipped my hat where I'm going to be picking, but I'm going to wish you luck. I've got my Campo Verde shorts. I just wore them to bed last night. So I got my Ragsdale goodies from last year, man. I'm going to have them on this week.
Now hold on, Coach, because I'm going to disagree with you. I think Sunrise is the strongest team in 5A. So I want to ask Coach Freeman, because I watched this team all year long. They're big up front. They're physical up front. They got gas burners at receiver, but also they do some similar stuff with you guys. They don't throw the ball a ton. I watched the Verado tape again last week. I think, heck, they threw the ball maybe 5 times. They just pound the rock, man. They're between the tackles. They got speed to the outside. And defensively, they're stout. What impresses you the most about that Sunrise team when you watch their film?
You know, one thing I see with Sunrise Mountain this year and 2 years ago, they put at their place in the playoffs is they don't beat themselves. They're not going to have a lot of penalties. They're not going to turn the ball over.
They are a very disciplined team. Coach Decker runs a good ship as far as that. I'll give him that.
Yeah. So they're not going to beat themselves. So you've got to come in disciplined enough to play your game and to stay in that discipline mode and understand they're going to bring a lot of pressure defensively. So they're going to catch you 2 or 3 times. And if they continue to bring that pressure, we've still got to continue to run the ball, because Caden has shown it week in, week out that if you give him a little crease, he can run past everybody. He is deceptively fast for when you meet Caden, and for the people who are listening who haven't met Caden, if you walk into a room of football players, he may be the last person you pick. He's like 5'8", 160 pounds, but I'll take him any day of the week and twice on Friday nights, because he is quick and he is definitely faster than he seems. Mm-hmm. So we've got to keep pounding that rock at them, and it may be the fastest game in history with the way that both of his offenses run.
That's true. That's a good point, Coach. Cody, funny story. Coach Cat meets Caden Calloway to add what Coach Freeman says. And he goes, Coach, I'm going to get bigger. I'm going to get stronger. I know. He goes, no, he goes, don't you add any size. Don't you add nothing. You look just the way you are and let the coaches see you as you are.
Well, it's funny because I remember when I first met his little brother Connor last year. I saw Connor. I was like, holy crap, because Connor is probably like 205, 210. But you're exactly right, man. I mean, Caden, he runs like he's 6 foot, 200 pounds, and with speed. So yeah, man. Hey, Coach, I really appreciate you joining us, man. And hey, best of luck on Friday. I always love covering you guys and watching you guys play football. You guys are a big ground and pound team. I'm a big fan of you guys. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, Coach. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for the time. We love what you guys do for high school sports, how you support our kids. So anytime I can get on and talk about our kids, I'll do it in a heartbeat. All you got to do is let me know.
All right, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Oh, Cody, obviously, I think I know where we're gonna pick on this one.
I mean, he's right though. This could be a media's dream. You're looking at a game that could be an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And
run.
Yeah, I'm going Sunrise, man.
I'm taking Campo.
I think Sunrise wins 28-27.
It's going to be a close. It's a touchdown game.
I think 28-27 is what I'm looking at. Campo adds 2 field goals, or maybe they miss an extra point. I just think Sunrise is big. I think this is the most physical team that Campo's seen since South Point. I think they get it done. That coach, though, Coach Freeman, that is the best hire Ragsdale and everybody on that hiring committee. That's the best hire they could have made. He is amazing for those kids, man.
There was no doubt in anybody's mind when Ragsdale took that position who was getting that job. If anybody thought that, I mean, they went through the motions, but he was the best man for the job.
Good dude, man.
Notre Dame prep at Ironwood, and then we're going to take a break and come back and run out. Notre Dame, I mean, Tyler Schweigert.
Hey, Brad Schweigert, his dad, he was on our show last week. He knew something we didn't know because that offense, he made that. Now, he did choose the NDP, but he's like, hey, offensively, we lost so many pieces, yada, yada, yada. Well, guess what? Their offense exploded, man. 42 points
at the right time.
Game. Schweigert, 247, 2 touchdowns in that game. Gavin Smith, oh, my gosh. Gavin Smith, the junior, 8 catches, 147 yards, a touchdown. Their senior running back, Luke Nash, averaged 6 yards a carry. That NDP team is hot at the right time. Ironwood had like the biggest upset or come from behind victory, I think, in school history last week when I think they were down by like 24 or 28.
24, I think, yeah. Yeah,
Desert Mountain, and they come up and win. And so that's a credit to that staff that year. And heck, our guy, James McElhenney, came in and made it one of the biggest plays of the game, man. I don't think Ironwood I don't think they match up well. I think NDP wins this game, and I think they make it to the 5A championship game for like the 3rd or 4th time in 6 years. I think that offense is hot at the right time. I don't think Ironwood defensively can stop them. I think NDP, man, wins by 14.
I'll tell you, the addition of Jimmy Mack on Ironwood is definitely a major addition for this team. I think this Ironwood team. I think this Ironwood team is better than I've given them credit for, or a lot of people say. But there's just something about Notre Dame prep in the playoffs, and you just don't want to be around these guys, especially with an experienced quarterback. I mean, these guys, Prelock is the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, they're expecting to go in there and win this game by 20.
100%, and they have the players that maybe they don't have the complete playoff experience, but they have been in that program and they've seen what it takes to get there. And that's really, really important. So it just breaks my heart because they have so many injuries on the team. If those kids were there, I'd look at it and go, hey, these guys are going to run away with the entire thing. I just can't say that with those kids not there. I do think they win this football game though.
35-21 Notre Dame prep.
I'm going to go 31. I think 31-17. So I think it's a 2-touchdown game. I think we agree on that. So I think Notre Dame prep advances.
Going to pay some bills on the Cody and Coach P show. Got a couple words from our sponsors. Come back with Highland Boulder Creek and Shap O'Connor rolling right into the open with a special guest. Stay tuned. Team Impact, proud sponsor of the My Recruits podcast. In the Valley since 2013, Team Impact runs personal training, camps, clinics, and nationally recognized competitive flag and 7-on-7 teams. To join the team, Coach Dave Bocci and his staff ask for hard work, high character, and a commitment to being the best. Programs for athletes as young as 5 years old. To learn more about Team Impact, visit teamimpactcoaching.com. That's teamimpactcoaching.com. Team Impact, where champions start. Education Solutions, helping both students and student athletes raise their GPA and test scores through the NCAA approved and accredited virtual school. Raising GPAs at a success rate of over 90% and test scores at a rate of 87%. Waste no more time. Increase your GPA and test scores by contacting Education Solutions today at 205-960-6444 or visit them online at youredsolutions.com. That's youredsolutions.com. Mention the My Recruit Show and receive a $100 discount. Back on the Cody and Coach P show. So many people love this show. So many people are so pissed that it exists. I love both ends of it. I really don't care. I think I've proven that. We'll get to the motivation that I provide to certain programs later. But it is what it is. Highland at Boulder Creek. Boulder Creek should have been an open team. Highland should have been an open team. Both teams probably should have been in the open is a legitimate argument.
Yep.
I
look at both. Yeah, you go for it.
No, I just you know this Highland team better than I do. I've opened my mouth and looked like an asshole, and it said and disrespected them until somebody turned around on Twitter and made a comment, said, "Coach, you really don't know this team," and it was like the Highland Hawks Twitter page. So I'm like, you know what? They're right. So I went back and I watched a lot of Highland film. This is a good football team. Now they're playing arguably one of the best players in the state, I believe. Mm-hmm. A very well coached team, a Division I quarterback. This is a great game, but I want to get your take on this one.
It should have been an open team, 100%. I think they deserve to be an open team more than Boulder Creek, just off of schedule and who they had to play. And even though I agree, I think Boulder Creek is right on the cusp of it. This team's fast, especially on defense. They fly. I don't think a lot of teams in the state see a 3-3-5 defense, and especially how many moving pieces they have. Their defensive coordinator over at Highland's amazing. And they got linebackers that really shoot the gaps, and they got two safeties in Tyler Sarin and Ammon Allen who are phenomenal. The big thing right now for Highland, and what's very dangerous for the rest of the state, is their quarterback, junior Gage Daly, is playing lights out. Mm-hmm. He lit up Castile last week. I think he had 4 touchdown passes in that game. When he is on, that team is I might throw the word unstoppable out there.
When you watch that game and how he started that game, speaking on Daly, it was just like you knew there was no way they were losing this game.
He walked in with confidence. He's comfortable in that offense. That their entire offensive staff does a great job of preparing those guys for success, especially with the run game they have in Max Davis, who's one of the best running backs in the entire state. By the way, Max Davis eclipsed the 100-yard mark last week for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th time in a very, very short cut season, and he rushed for his 20th rushing touchdown. Here's the thing. I watched O'Connor play last week, and I was blown away by their front seven. Max Davis rushed for 327 yards against them. That's how good Max Davis is. He has the ability to rush for 200. He has the ability to rush for 200 plus in this football game here. If he does that, Highland wins this football game by 20.
Not to take anything away from Max Davis, but there's a guy on the other end of the ball, on the other side, that rushed for 200 yards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times this year. And
my man Jacob Cisneros
and I think he put up 300 all-purpose yards on O'Connor's defense and single-handedly beat them. I got a phone call from Scott Craddock after the game, And this was exactly what he said. He said, we lost to Cisneros.
Yeah.
He ran one, caught one, and threw one.
Yep.
At the end of the day, he's going to be tough to stop.
Yeah, and I was talking to a couple media members about him just yesterday, and this might be a little insight to our postseason awards, but there's a bunch of names right now for Player of the Year and stuff like that, and the Ed Doherty Awards as well. And I go, Jacob Cisneros is so good that when you talk about his stat line and he finishes with 250 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns, you go, oh, that's it?
Yeah.
And for most players, most high school football players, that's their
career game.
That's their best game of their career. And with Jacob Cisneros, he is so good, you go, the defense played pretty well against him, which is insanity. My thing is here, if Boulder Creek defensively, because they have all the guys, they have by the way, it's not Bear Milicic. I just learned this out. It's Milicic. And so they have Bear.
I knew something you don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. So this is crazy. So he's going to get his. Cisneros is going to get his. Boulder Creek's offensive line is amazing. But if Max Davis rushes for over 200 yards, which he's very much capable of, and Gage Daly throws for over 200 yards, Highland wins this football game by 17 or 20.
Talk about a key player in this game that showed to be a huge part of the Highland offense last week. 2022 tight end Jace Patton. 6'4", 220 pounds, 80 yards and a touchdown. Daly starts utilizing the tight end. It adds a whole nother aspect to. I mean, this is going to be a great game. Well,
people don't understand. Like Highland's receiving core runs deep, so they have Patton, Ammon Allen, who is probably the best uncommitted player in the NBA right now. He has 461 yards receiving on 18 catches. Logan Kingsford is another senior receiver, averages 15 yards a catch. Their receiving core is deep. They're talented. Josh Shanks is another senior who plays really, really well for them, who's got on. This team is dangerous. And then their entire offensive line and their entire defensive line, they are studs. This is my favorite to win all of 6A. Boulder Creek can surprise them because, like you said,
well, I guess you just stole the flame out of my next comment, which was I have a feeling we're not going to agree on this one. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm going to say, and Boulder Creek's going to hate me, but I think Highland wins by 17. I think the final score is, man, I think it's like 41-24. I think that's the final score. Okay.
I think that here's what I think.
Okay, hit me.
I've been a defensive coordinator before, and you try to game plan to stop their star. You try to game plan to stop their star. When you have a Division I quarterback in Bear, an offensive line like that, they have a great tight end. They do so much with Jacob that you can't really stop him. Yeah, if you do stop him, they cannot force. This is what I want to say. And there's both teams this goes for. You cannot force either team to be one-dimensional because they're so good both ways.
Yep.
I think Cisneros really is just playing with a chip on his shoulder that cannot be explained. And I think he's going to continue to run through this 6A like shit through a sick goose.
Well, I mean, it can be explained. He's under-recruited.
I mean, very.
He is very under-recruited.
And this is how – and I want to tell you something. Obviously, that's my business. This is how This is how effed up recruiting is right now. He's got a great opportunity at the University of Pennsylvania. I had a conversation with Coach Simmons the other day. We spoke. He said, Coach, first of all, I wanted to make him understand just how great that opportunity was for Cisneros. Okay, and I know everybody wants to play Power 5. Everybody does. Everybody wants to be the guy. I wanted him to understand how important that offer was, how important it was for his level of education. Coach Simmons actually offered me to help him recruit for him. I turned him down. I said, no, if something pops, I'll let you know. If somebody says, hey, I need the best running back in the state, I got 2 or 3 guys I can run past them, okay? But I think Boulder Creek's going to win this game. And then that's going to segue me into the next game who has, in my opinion, one of the best pure running backs in the state. But you're going Highland, I'm going Boulder Creek. Done?
Yep, done.
One of the best running backs in the state went off last week. Again, Jared Williams. Chaparral visits O'Connor. Scott Craddock from the AIA meeting called me and said, hey, do you know that we're going to get 2 home games? I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, Shop's going to win. We're going to win. And we're going to have 2 home games. And I was like, well, you got that worked out. He goes, you'll see. Well, Chaparral at O'Connor. This is a fucking great game, man.
A North Phoenix area, Anthem and Happy Valley. That is the place to be on Friday night. You can't go wrong with either one of these games.
No, and I'm not going to be it either, but that's fine.
And what Jared Williams and Shap did offensively against a Quinn Creek team with 4 or 5 Power 5 players, because Jared Williams averaged like almost 200 yards rushing, almost averaged like 6.5 yards a carry, is incredible.
8 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
Chaparral, incredible. But Chaparral's defense, holding Quinn Creek to 8 and goose egging them in the last 3 quarters. I think they picked off Devin Brown like 1 or 2. I think they picked him off twice. They held him down to 100 yards passing. They only threw for 72 yards. Chaparral's defense absolutely ate Quinn Creek's lunch and dinner.
They got a kid over there that I just hooked up with who is a stud. He's so undersized, but he's got a motor that is reminiscent. He reminds me a little of Craddock, not to give him the ultimate compliment, but C.J. Eastwood.
Okay.
Linebacker for sure. You got to watch this kid play. I mean, he's a dude. I mean, they got some dudes all over, but here's the thing, dude. Offensively, best offensive lineman. Let me rephrase it so I don't start some bullshit. One of the best offensive linemen in the state. In my opinion, he's my guy. He's the best. He's fully.
Look at you learning. Look at that.
Got a full D2 scar. I mean, you're helping me. We're working through the kinks.
Let me hold back. I got to rephrase.
One of the best offensive linemen in the state. One of the best quarterback running back combos in the state.
For sure.
Probably second to Bear and Cisneros is the combination of Silbor and Williams.
Yep.
I believe that. I think Silbor is firing on all cylinders right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the world of the level of coaching at that program.
Yep.
They're phenomenal staff. Chaparral's got the edge probably in this one. Well, let's rephrase. Chaparral has a big edge offense.
Big edge. But man, we were both there last Friday.
No.
What O'Connor did to Basha, and Bash is their freshman quarterback. I've said it every.
Bash is a great team.
He is a superstar, and Bash is a great team. They're fast on defense. They got a ton of athletes. Their senior receiver core is amazing. That's a monstrous win for O'Connor. Okay, Seth Feltz, he needs to start.
No shit.
I don't care if that, like, he just needs to start. He gives you your best opportunity to win. He runs your offense better. I call it like I said.
It's not that the Kenzie kid's not good. He's great. He's very good. But the offense is firing under Feltz. He runs your offense better. Kenzie, to me, is a true passer.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to run zone reads. You're trying to establish – I mean, Donovan Fontaine is probably one of the most underrated running backs in the state.
The offense runs through Donovan Fontaine.
Right. He's the gateway.
Yes. And so Chaparral's defense played amazing. They played amazing last 2 weeks. I watched a similar back who's 2 years younger, and Kavon Clark, though, rushed for 200 yards against him on Centennial. Or Centennial sophomore running back Kavon Clark rushed for 200 yards against Shap like 2-3 weeks ago. Donovan Fontaine, similar in stature, and 2 years older, 2 years more experience, that needs to be a level of concern for Shap's defense. Donovan Fontaine is a monster. He is a monster.
And
he is
Feltz plays off of him
so well.
Perfect.
So well. And then the receiving core, J.D. Groff's a stud.
Receiving core's legit.
Damian Stewart's a stud. These are big body receivers, big target.
2 Division I caliber receivers.
They're good, man. And then defensively, it's Craddock. It's the soft Blake Ware.
Dude, Blake Ware, hold on. Blake Ware had a career game.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Ware had, I think, 10 tackles, 2.5 sacks,
4 tackles
for fumble, and a fumble recovery, 3.5 tackles for loss.
The 3 Bs, man. It's Brandon Craddock, Blake Ware, and Brevin. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. That's on you. The 3 Bs, man. These kids are lights out. They're fast, they're quick.
They're lights out. Their linebacking core.
make
They have the best
plays in the
linebacking core in the state.
So, hey, on paper, Shap should win by 2 touchdowns. But.
We've seen them. They just get it done.
O'Connor's hosting this game. It's not,
and that's not an easy place to play, man.
It's not a huge travel for Shap, but it's not an easy place to play. It's familiar for them.
It's loud there. I'll tell you that.
Their defense flies, man. They fly. I think if Shap plays their best game, they do win by 10. I think Shap wins this football game. They play their best.
This is so pathetic. Let me explain how good O'Connor's defense is. There's no way in the world we are supposed to be even contemplating not picking Chaparral in this game.
Yes. Yep. 100%.
And we are actually afraid to bet against Brandon Craddock and Blake Ware in this defense.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they're so good.
Because of Shap's offense, I should say they win by 14. So I'm going to counter that and say because of Shap's defense. I think Shap's defense is playing lights out right now. I think they're just playing with confidence.
Phelps needs to start.
Yeah, I think Shap's defense actually helps Shap win this football game by 14. But that's a credit to Sandra Day O'Connor's defense too.
Sandra Day O'Connor struggles in one area, and nobody has it really exposed. You've seen some exposure last week when Pennington ran that streak for 76 yards. Sandra Day O'Connor's defense is weak in the deep middle. They've got a good young safety who flies around, but I feel like you can throw the ball on them. Max Minor, Braden Silbor.
Yeah. I'm gonna disagree with you and say that Bash's senior receiving core, besides me, and we know they're good, but I think they let the world know we have been nasty all season. And their freshman quarterback, how accurate is he on the?
No, he's good. He's good. He's
so
real good. He's a star. I talked to him the other day. I told him you're a star. Just keep your head right. I got to take Chaparral in this one. I know it's going to trigger a shitload of phone calls.
Hey, let him come.
I am nobody's a bigger fan of. Matter of fact, the My Recruits report was released yesterday. Players of the week: Blake Ware, Brandon Craddock, up for the My Recruits scholarship for this year. So at the end of the day, but Jared Williams, Mason Osborne, I'm giving my nod to the 2021s on this. Shap wins it by 10. What do you say? 14?
I think Shap wins by 14. I'm going to go.
So we're in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah, 35-21, 38-24. But 6A playoffs, man, that's the place to be on Friday night.
Well, I'll tell you what. We are going to roll right into the open because so first of all, Saguaro's doing a lot of chatting on social media about, hey, let's knock this, let's wait, let's play this thing out. Because, this should be Saguaro at Hamilton at the end of the day. We know that. They're it's a shitty situation, but Sal Point benefits from it. Nico is day-to-day, as I believe the report out of Hamilton, but I don't really think it matters.
Wow. You think Sal Point just walks away with this?
No.
You think Hamilton walks away with this no matter what?
Very easily. I have watched Sal Point live. Mm-hmm. Treson Bourget is all that in a bag of chips. Mm-hmm. But once you get past Treson Bourget, there's no way they can match the talent of this Hamilton team. This is a 40-point blowout.
Well, they had 2 running backs last week.
With or without Nico.
Yeah.
This is a 40-point blowout.
Noah Schmidt and Rodney Clemente, I think, accumulated over 300
Listen
yards.
to me. Hamilton's offensive line.
Nasty.
Compared to this defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton's offensive line, Hamilton can rush. Hamilton can break a record in this game rushing the ball. Mm-hmm. They don't even need a quarterback. They can play without one. They can play with 10. Hamilton wins this game 50 to 14.
50 to 14.
It's a blowout. A blowout.
Dang, man.
I'm not gonna make any friends in Tucson this week. And we all know Hamilton and I, there's no relationship.
Yeah.
Hamilton assassinates this team.
Yeah, their backfield with Rodney Clemente and Noah Schmidt, the two seniors, that's a loaded backfield. You could see them get them done last week. The offensive line's playing. It's a physical football team. They're playing with Chandler for about 2.5 quarters too. And you play with Chandler for that long, you're probably a pretty damn good football team. I will say this: South Point. I watched their tape against Mountain View Marana, and their receiver, who actually just got a U of A offer, he's a junior. I think he's out-of-state transfer. Elijah Barkley, he is a freaking stud. That kid is fast.
Yeah.
He can catch. He is a baller. Trayson Bourget, super baller. Here's the thing, though. Hamilton's front seven defensively, they're fast, they're physical, and they fly to the football. Their defensive coordinator, Coach Dodery, is one of the best in the entire state. Their seniors right now, though, with Jack Howell, Chris Trojan, they're playing lights out. Russell Davis, their 2022 defensive end. He has 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks in this game, and a forced fumble. I think Hamilton wins by 21.
20?
21. I think they win by 21. Yeah.
All right.
So I just think it's I think
Okay, well, we both agree that's so. Who's Hamilton going to play? So last week, amazing finish, Liberty Centennial.
Yep.
Okay, what's the toughest thing to do in high school football?
Go for 2 and succeed.
That's one. Number 2, beat the same team twice.
Yes.
Centennial, Liberty, back-to-back weeks. Liberty gets it done. An amazing game. We're going to take a special guest joining us on the line, head coach, Liberty Lions, Coach Thomas. Let's get him in, Cody. Cody, you take the lead once he comes in.
Copy that. And he's connecting. And I believe he's in. Another is back-to-back first-year head coaches who had been
Isn't it awesome?
with their program, man. And now we're in a situation like this. Coach Thomas, are you there?
Yes, how you doing?
I'm fantastic, man. And there we go.
Come on, let's see the Liberty swag. Get the camera on, Coach.
See that
Yeah,
line
I'm trying
there?
to. I don't know what. I'm on a school computer here. I don't know how to turn this thing on. We'll figure it out.
The school, that's just the school website saying you're trying to join the Cody and Coach P show.
There you go. There you go.
I'll try to Cody, I will try to get a picture of Coach Thomas and then superimpose it into the Zoom box.
That might be better for me anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting younger these days, you know.
Cody, take it away. We're gonna take the Coach Thomas phone interview, and we're gonna try to superimpose a nice photograph of him on there.
Well, Coach Thomas, we talked to Coach Freeman at Campo Verde about 25 minutes before this interview, and I asked him a question. I'm gonna ask you the same thing. When you took over this program after obviously winning a 6A title against Red Mountain last year, you guys had a ton of seniors off that team, though. A lot of spots, including a quarterback position with a lot of question marks and a lot of first-year players. But now here you guys are, just fresh off an open victory, beating Centennial, and you guys are in the Open State semifinals. Did this team surprise you at all this year? Did you expect to be here where you're at right now?
You know, the expectation at Liberty is very high, you know, and our players understood that, you know, it's different faces, but the same expectations. So, you know, I think we did expect to have a great season. And obviously, as the season's gone on, a lot of young men had a chance to grow and prove themselves and continue the great tradition here.
My second question is, I think Brock Mast has been the best first-year starting quarterback in the entire state. I watched him against Red Mountain, and ever since then, he had a good game against Red Mountain, especially in the second half, started to light it up. But ever since then, he's kind of grown every single week. I watch his tape every single week, and the kid impresses me, man. He hardly makes mistakes. He's very comfortable in your guys' offense. How have you seen him grown throughout the year, and what has impressed you the most about his game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Brock's been a 4-year program guy, and he's been on varsity since his sophomore year, so he's got reps, and this year's his chance to be the full-time guy. And like you said, he just looks comfortable back there. He knows what we're doing. This year he's really found a knack for, extending plays with his legs, not necessarily as a runner, but to make throws down the field. And he's just comfortable, and he looks like a senior playing the position out there, And so now he's been kind of the engine that's kind of drove us most of the year. And then obviously last week, in critical spots, he showed his maturity and his ability to make plays.
Coach, I want to real quick just highlight, I mean, obviously, I love this program. I love everything you guys do over there. But the 1-2 punch of Pitts and Stam, Cody and I have spoke about this so much. I mean, really, do you feel like with that defense, with Jack Stam, with Pitts, do you feel like, you really can play with any team?
Well, it's not really just about what I feel. It's about what the kids feel.
Mm-hmm.
And our kids do believe that, I mean, we have really tough, hard-nosed kids, and, we're ready for battle each week. And Jackson and Shane lead that way with their energy and their passion and their toughness. And that is just kind of passed on to everyone else on our team. And we all kind of play that way and have that belief in ourselves.
I know you expected a lot. Zacchaeus Cooper has been, ridden with some injuries this year with the foot and the ankle. And I know you guys really were counting on a lot more to be in this position in a rematch against Chandler without the season that we all, I believe, expected out of him is pretty amazing. And that just goes to show not only the level of coaching on this team, but the level of camaraderie and this team. I mean, you've got players that were not even, talked about or still not talked about. Like the Cortez kid has got like 90 tackles. I mean, you got guys all over the place contributing. And that's what this Liberty team does. I mean, you play together as a team. I mean, I honestly, I know I get a lot of slack in my picks against Chandler. But Coach Garrettson sent Cody a text, said, please tell Perone to pick Liberty this week, because everybody picks Chandler. Everybody thinks Chandler is going to win. But I think this team, after that emotional win, proving that you can coach around a coach to game plan against a team you play for a second time, I really think you guys are going to be in this one in a position to win this thing late.
Well, I appreciate that. One, everyone should pick Chandler, okay, because they're the best team
absolutely
we've ever seen, if I'm honest. They're obviously very talented, but exceptionally well coached. But we kind of started using the motto on offense anyway, obviously, when I was running that for the last 5 years of the Warriors' strength in numbers, because it's never been about one guy here. It's always been about the team. And we use a lot of guys. We probably spread the ball as much as anybody.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's good to have special players like Z. Z's in my mind had a good year. He separated his shoulder the first Chandler game, had a grade 2 separation, played the rest of the year with that.
Wow.
And injuries. So I mean, he's showing he can catch the ball in the backfield, and he's done a lot of different things for us this year. So the tough part is when you're that young man is when the expectation is so high after last year.
Nowhere to
it's
go
hard
but
to
down.
match that.
Yeah.
But again, he's been banged up all year. So I mean, he's had a good year, and then we found ways to use him and Zach Wallace together middle of the season, and that's when we really took off offensively in the Shep and Queen Creek and Pinnacle and got a lot better. But yeah, we've had a lot of guys step up. You talked about Cortez. He's a typical Liberty type kid that waited his time. Just worked hard. He's undersized. But, I mean, he probably made one of the biggest plays of the year last week. We're down 7-0. Brock throws a pick, and then he makes a pick himself to get us the ball back at the 15-yard line, tie that game, and the rest kind of, we had him in the rest of the game. So, it's kind of what Liberty's always been about is about team and about togetherness, and very proud of this team. Is the same way.
Coach, I got to ask you a question about Chandler because, even the non-football fans in the country know how good this Wolves team is. I mean, they're just so loaded from top to bottom. And like you said, they're so well coached. But just another team that you guys have already seen this year. Obviously, it's been many, many months ago. But playing them for a second time around here, and you might not be able to answer this question, or just want to answer it. But what do you think you guys need to do differently the second time around that maybe you didn't necessarily do game one? And or in general, what would you like to see your team do differently the second time around when you play these guys?
Well, I think Keon Gray's had 4 touchdowns on us, so that'd be a start. But, really against a team like this, you're not going to stop them consistently, right? So you got to find a way to create turnovers. Same thing Centennial last week. They're hard to stop, but the defense did a great job creating turnovers. And then offensively, when you get opportunities, you got to make the most of them. The first game, we got in the red zone twice in the first half, had to kick field goals. You're not going to beat these guys having to settle for 3. So take advantage of every opportunities and kind of you're going to have to be super aggressive and, hopefully some of the shots you hit. And then, get the game to be a one-score game in the fourth quarter and give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
We've been in a lot of those games the last 5 years around here, probably a lot more than they have because they've been up so much. So our kids are comfortable being in those spots, and we got to put a little pressure on those guys and make that happen.
Coach, best of luck. Honestly, like you said, this is arguably one of the best top 3 teams in the country that you're walking in against, in all seriousness. You've done a hell of a job there. And really one of the things that impresses me the most, obviously, we've sat down. I work with a lot of your guys privately, helping them with their recruiting. But one of the things I think that's most important that needs to be highlighted, and this, Coach Garrettson as well. I mean, you got 2 guys coaching in this game that care about their kids. To me, at the end of the day, that's what's so important. I can give you a call at any point in the day, any time, and say, Coach so-and-so reached out talking about Jax or talking about Brock. And, you prioritize it. We sit down, we talk about it. It's not like, hey, you're an outsider working with my program. Coach Smith had brought me in there last year and we talked. At the end of the day, I have the utmost respect for the program. I have the utmost respect for you. And on the flip side, Coach Garrettson's the same way. So classy game, 2 big-time classy programs, and we're looking forward to seeing it.
Thanks very much. We're excited for the opportunity, and we're going to play as hard as possible and see what happens.
Coach, good luck.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Cody, it's going to be a tough task. It's going to be a tough task. It's there. Chandler might be able to beat any team in the country.
Yeah, I moved down here in 2017. I graduated from NAU spring of 2017, moved down to Phoenix, first time ever in August. And I found out very quickly to never root against Chandler. I think the only team I've ever seen him beat him was Mountain Point, and that was during the regular season that year. And ever since then, they haven't lost. And I made a rule, I think, in the 2018 season. I said, hey, I will never choose against Chandler until they lose. Well, shit, man, they haven't lost. So, I think Chandler wins by 21. They're just, everything's already been said. But I think the key to this game is what Coach Thomas was talking about. We have to get in a fourth quarter where we have an opportunity to even win this football game. And not down by 14. I thought it was the most interesting thing he said is we have to be down by 7. Because even when you're down by 10, when you're down by 14,
against Chandler, it's over.
They step on your throat and they never let go.
You cannot give. Here's the deal. You cannot give. This game has to be played. You have to play from a level of perfection. Desert Edge had an opportunity to. You have to take a game against Chandler. You have to take in stages. Okay, so Chandler jumps out right away on Desert Edge 7-0.
Yep.
Adrian Lara rips off a 65-yard run. Desert Edge has a 1st and goal. That's a must score to get to the next stage. And he gets picked in the end zone. Chandler goes up 14-0.
Game over.
No more.
The only team, Hamilton last year in their Week 10 game against them, played it perfectly. A Week 11 game perfectly. They got into a position to win. Mikey Keene just, I think, completed every single pass in that last drive, and Chandler won the football game. That's how you play. You have to play like that.
I know, but I'll tell you right now.
Come on, say it. I know.
I just the way that they played Desert Edge. I really believe Desert Edge is one of the most talented teams in the state. Bar none. player, position by position, coaching, everything. They are one of the most talented teams in the state. I believe Desert Edge could have beat almost any team, or at least played with any team in the Open. They get matched up with Chandler. Chandler hands, I mean,
Yeah.
They're amazing. But I'm not going to let Coach Garrettson down. I'm picking the Liberty Lions to take this one, the upset of the century.
Okay, a realistic score I'm going to put out here because, heck, the Chandler staff even said Liberty's tough, man. I remember after they played them, they said, hey, very good. They said that's a very good football team.
That's secondary.
I think Chandler wins by, I want to say 21. But you know what's the craziest thing about this is they can honestly probably win by 40.
Yeah.
They could.
I mean, Jack Stam might have to knock out every receiver they have cold to win this game.
Yeah, and they'll just pull up the JV guys who are future D1 dudes anyway. So, that's how deep they are. I think Chandler wins this football game. And if I had to give a score out, I'm going to just say like 45-20.
Yeah, it's a 45-20. It's a 45-20 look. But Liberty plays perfect.
Okay.
Liberty plays perfect, makes no mistakes.
Yeah.
Comes up with 4 turnovers and wins it late on a Brock Mast 2-point conversion again.
I do want to say, just like Coach Freeman, the perfect pick that Liberty's AD and entire.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Coach Thomas is the guy. That was the guy. Like,
absolutely.
I don't know. They went through the motions of the hiring. That was the guy. That was the guy you had to hire, and they hired him. And now
look where Campo is. Look where Liberty is, and it proves they made the right choice.
They are. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. They are one of the top 4 teams in the entire state of Arizona.
So chances are we're looking at a Hamilton Chandler rematch. You've got Highland versus Shap in the finals.
Yep.
And Sunrise versus Notre Dame. Wow. Yep. What an interesting game that would be.
Football, man. This is the best time of the year right here, Coach. The weather's cold.
You're going where? Boulder Creek?
I'm going to go to BC. I'm going to go up to Anthem. And, hopefully I still have some friends up there.
Don't party too hard up there, man. They get wild.
I'm excited to eat some pregame dinner. I heard there's some great locations. So
there is. I will be far, far away. I've got college coaches in town. I got more coming in on Sunday. We're going to take a ride out and check out a 4A game. So I'm excited about that. Hey, 4A is not left out. Those of you, I will be on tomorrow. Cody, we couldn't squeeze 4A in. Cody's beautiful girlfriend's birthday tonight. He's got to run.
It's her birthday, man. I gotta do some good things.
Tell her happy birthday, Cody, Coach P. As always, over and out.
Peace.